Welcome to Spotlight Documentaries, our series on leaders and coalitions of the White House Drug Free Communities program. So we're here today with Sergeant Jacquin with the St. Louis County Police Department. So you've been instrumental in alcohol and vape compliance checks in the county and a huge part of the drug prevention program. So thank you for all that you've done. What inspired you to become a leader in the fight against addiction, and what are your takeaway messages after the years of experience?
So earlier in my career, I was assigned to our traffic unit, which basically went out and we made a lot of DWI arrests, alcohol enforcement, and I noticed I've worked a lot of bad crashes involving drunk drivers. I did a lot of reconstructions of fatal crashes involving drunk drivers, and I saw how it impacted lives and families and communities, and it kind of gave me a sense that I can stop this. You know, the more DWI arrests I make, the more lives I might save. So it kind of hit home with me during my earlier part in my career. And then when I went to the academy as an instructor, I got to meet some people who were impacted personally by losing loved ones of drunk drivers and people who are under the influence of narcotics. So that even hit home even more as I was an instructor with the recruits. So it always kind of stuck with me.
It's really inspiring. So can you tell us more about the compliance checks that you do, and how often do you find non-compliance and what actions you take?
Okay, yep. So when we do a compliance check, whether it be alcohol or tobacco related, we take an underage confidential informant with the permission of their parents, and we'll take an undercover detective, and we'll go into stores that we predetermine. We do all sorts of gas stations, grocery stores, pharmacies, stuff like that. And we'll go in and they'll try and make a purchase of one of the products, and it's decision time. Will they sell to them or will they not? And I would say the alcohol failure rate is somewhere between 13 and 15%, but the vape stores we've been doing and tobacco stores we've been doing have been much higher, which is a very disturbing trend. Growing up, we didn't have vape stores. It's kind of a new phenomenon, and so the laws are still regulated to them. The tobacco age recently changed nationwide from 18 to 21. So we get a little higher failure rate with them. But what we do is when we get a failure, we go ahead and we try and educate. That's the most important thing we can do, is say, hey, you made a mistake. You are going to get fined. But how do we prevent this from happening in the future? That's the best thing we can do with compliance check, is to get the word out there. Whether it be students knowing that we're out there doing it, or businesses knowing that they're going to be held accountable if they fail.
And with your experience working in the field, how is the tobacco and alcohol situation among teens in St. Louis County?
It's tricky. It's a tricky question. I thought about how to answer this. So teens drink less than adults, right? But when they do drink, they drink more. They have a tendency to go what's called binge drinking. That gets dangerous because they get blackout drunk, right? Whether it's the weekend, Friday or Saturday night after a football game or somebody's party. And when that happens, you have more of a probability of coming into law enforcement or first responder contact, right? Whether it be a fight, a physical assault, a fall, a car crash, or sometimes we get sexual assaults because the girls are just passed out and they don't know what happened. They wake up, they throw up all over themselves, and they knew something happened, they just don't know what happened. So unfortunately, we kind of see that as a trend. With tobacco use with teens, again, it goes back to the vape stores. It's not just cigarettes or marijuana cigarettes, it's the vapes. And they got different flavors, and they're actually marketing towards teens to try these to make money. So that's a phenomenon we're trying to combat, because I see that as a gateway to marijuana use with the vape pens.
And what are some of the biggest obstacles to tobacco and alcohol prevention that you see, and how can we overcome them?
With alcohol, I see a marketing trend going towards younger and younger people, like Mike's Hard Lemonade, right? Smirnoff Ice, Jungle Juice, right? That's something that teens will try because it's a little better tasting than just your Budweiser, right? So that's something that I think we're combating a little bit. And then again, going back to the jewels, right? The vape pens, more teens are apt to try tobacco now because it's kind of geared towards them, marketed towards them, and their peers will try it and they'll say, hey, try this out, and next thing you know, here we go. So I see an increase in both, unfortunately.
And can you share Can you share a few strategies that young leaders can use to promote prevention with their peers?
So with their peers, I think they need to start looking for warning signs, right? A change in behavior, a change in their mood, whether they're depressed when they used to not be, whether they become antagonistic or angry when they used to not be. A change in student life. They used to be a good student. They used to be engaged, and now they're pulled back, right? Something's happened. Have they changed their groups of friends, right? Have they done something of that nature? And what I say to that is, if you see something, say something. Okay? It doesn't necessarily have to be confront that person one-on-one unless you feel comfortable doing so. Tell a counselor, tell a teacher, tell a parent, tell a loved one, somebody you trust that might be able to take it a step further and ask their loved ones. Because if you don't, what can you live with, right? If something happens and you knew about it, you're going to feel horrible. So you see something, say something.
And what are some of the things that all of us in the community can do to prevent use of harmful substances?
So I'm going away from peer at this point. I'm going to go towards adults, school counselors, parents, teachers. Just talk to the team, right? Talk to them. That's all you have to do. Sit down, talk to them about the dangers of drinking and how it affects your body and how it affects your brain development and your social skills, right? Your motor skills. You can't drive. I think that's being a good role model, right? Not having alcohol readily available, locking up your medications, okay? Know who their friends are. Talk to them about life day to day. How was school today? How was practice today? How was band practice today? Reach out to other parents, see what they're seeing, okay? Especially if you have one of those warning signs where they're not hanging out with their friends anymore, or they quit a sport, or they quit something they love to do. Hey, what's going on? Is everything okay? Can I help? And know your local resources, right? Know your school administrators, know your counselors, know your teachers you can trust. Have somebody that you always got, somebody you can turn to if you have to.
Thank you so much,
You're
Jonathan,
welcome.
for your time.
Thank you.